the ForgeBox module of the week. You want to tell us about this one? The author is actually in the chat right now.
Yeah, I'm reading about it right now. I hadn't seen it when it came out.
So
Published on November 7th. Well, that was yesterday.
So
this is the Swagger Redoc UI for ColdBox.
Yep. So David Levin, he was inspired by the cbSwagger UI module that Daniel Garcia wrote. And so basically he decided to do a Swagger Redoc UI version. And so if you go to /redoc once you've got it installed, you'll see a visual representation of your Swagger docs. And it's based on the Redoc one, which is a React-based version.
I feel like I need some screenshots in this README so I know what it means when it says a visual.
Well, you can see right here. Ooh, this README has it. So we need to get some of those files in there, David. But it looks pretty slick, and there is a live demo we can go look at. And it sounds pretty cool. David's been doing a lot of work with Swagger lately. He's been asking questions and talking about things like using refs with all of refs, etc. But if we come down here and look at the pet, so if we want to like find pet by ID, you can see, you've got if you got a big screen like myself, you can have all the different options. So you can have the menu on the left, and the middle is more the the schemas, and then you have the examples, and you can actually run the payloads as different examples. If you want to use XML, JSON, you can do cat, dog.
Maybe David can clarify, is this a tool that generates a static mini site, or is this something that's like at runtime dynamically parsing JSON and outputting this? Like, could you take this and put it on S3 as a static site? What exactly?
Yeah, I believe you could. So like we do that with a customer. We have a little site, and the way the cbSwagger one works, the Swagger UI, is it just defaults to the /Swagger implementation, but you can give it different URLs. And so this one here, it's very similar. I haven't installed his version yet, but I'm assuming it's the same, that when you load it up, it'll just load up the Swagger doc that Swagger automatically creates, so the cbSwagger module. But then from there, obviously you can just point it at wherever. So you could put the Redoc one anywhere in your put on S3, and just what we do in one of our clients is we just basically make a link that goes to where our shared Redoc server is, and then pass in the file name that we want it to load, and then it'll load it in there.
So is there like an export button then that actually creates the static files? Because it's looking like this is just a ColdBox module you install, and you're just hitting a ColdBox route that's actually like the server's running, and that's what's generating it.
Yeah, so by default, to get the JSON to actually make the docs work, it pulls the Swagger endpoint, and then it generates the JSON file on the fly and then displays it. So I assume with that module there, it's just an easy way to load up and display it without having to worry about installing a static site somewhere else. So
right. No, that's fine. It just wasn't my question. Okay. My question was, does this module generate a static site, yes or no? And the README doesn't say, and I was hoping if David was still in the chat, he would clarify.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, I totally understand the runtime parses the JSON file as the page loads, generates it on the fly. I was trying to figure out if this would like spit out a folder of HTML files for me. All right, Scott Steinbeck says no.
No, I mean,
all right, well, that's fine. I'm just trying to understand what it did.
Yeah, you just clone the Redoc one and just put your Swagger JSON file in there if that's what you wanted. So it could generate, but it's essentially already there. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay, all right, fair enough. I was just trying to understand what it did.
Yeah, so like I said, it's pretty cool, and obviously there's some other ones out there, and so it's one of those things that you can quickly, look at something like the cbSwagger UI or this one and get some different versions, because some of them have some cool little features that aren't there. I like the ones where you can put in your, do your login, and it remembers your keys, and then it adds them automatically to all your calls. You can actually test the calls right there in the UI, and it does everything through local storage. It's pretty slick. So I haven't tried that one. I will have to play with it. That was our ForgeBox module of the week, brought to you by Modernize or Die Podcast, CFML News Edition, proudly sponsored by Order Solutions. You can see the new episodes every week on cfmlnews.modernizeordie.io or on the Order Solutions YouTube channel.